You see, most people think that emotional intelligence is just how well you control your emotions, but it's actually the key that helps you have better relationships in your life and ultimately transform your life in a whole bunch of areas. You see, when you know how to control and manage and observe your emotions, you're able to spot those things in other people easier, right? And that's where your levels of empathy, that's where your levels of sympathy, that's where your overall unity in the way that you interact with people changes. And in the process of you leveling up your life, a key aspect of that also is your relationships. Um, whether that's getting the girl that you want, whether that's, business partners, having people, buy your services. So it's just whatever it is in life. Usually it comes with a level of collaboration. Now, if you don't know how to understand your emotions and articulate your emotions in a way where other people can understand you and get it, and also be able to listen properly and be able to use context clues around situations to gauge other people's emotions, you're going to reach a lot of turmoil, because emotions have a tendency of ruining situations when not closely examined or paid attention to. So one of the first things that I do to manage my mental health and just my emotional intelligence in general is actually taking note of my emotions. Right now, when I have a very potent emotion, when I have a very heavy situation over me, the very first thing that I go do is go pick up that pencil and journal it down. I need to see what's actually happening in my life. I need to see what I'm feeling. That's the very first step, at least for me, being able to get to a place where I can look at what's happening, where I can take it outside of myself, and it's something that's not physically me, that's showing me what's going on. While you're going throughout your day, you're just getting a whole bunch of thoughts. You run through thousands and thousands and thousands of thoughts per day. It's very hard to keep track of all of those thoughts and actually understand which ones were the ones that was causing some type of emotional turbulence, emotional joy, whatever the case may be, whatever emotion is sparked. It's kind of hard to, pinpoint what that actually was when you aren't at a space of clarity. And the easiest way to get clarity is to journal those things down, write those things down, document those things down, so you can return to it at a more level-headed space and kind of see why you were saying the things that you were saying. Or you can see in retrospect, like, hey, this is how I talk when I'm upset. This is how a triggered version of me talks. So when I'm about to act like that again, I have a reference of, the last time I spoke like this or acted like this or behaved like this. And that's kind of the energy I was in, so you know how to move forward. So yeah, journaling has been a very beneficial thing for me. I feel like that's probably been the most important thing for me. I gave you guys one of my biggest keys at the beginning of the video. Journaling, right? Don't sleep on the importance of the pen. Now, the second thing that you guys have to take note when it comes to emotional intelligence is that people usually tell you what's going on. Now, this may be a little bit difficult to understand sometimes, because people like to, hide their emotions and hide the depth of who they truly are. But you can't hide energy. You wear your energy, whether you like to, whether you want to. It says it all over you. It's the way that you handle yourself. It's the way that you talk. It's your demeanor, everything about it, right? So being able to encounter a person and listen at a level where you know exactly what their triggers are, right? It shouldn't take a genius for you to have a level of empathy and sympathy for those said triggers, right? Part of emotional intelligence is like acknowledging truth, right? If you see that somebody, like, let's say Los Angeles, right? Because Los Angeles has this tendency of having broken households, right? When you see somebody has broken household, you can almost be sure that they're going to have certain lash outs, certain insecurities, certain commitment things, or certain things around love and family that's going to show in the way that they operate in real life, right? Like if they grew up in an environment where everybody was yelling, that's probably why they're yelling at you right now. It has nothing to do about, like, it has very little to do with you and what you did, what you're saying, etc. They've been taught somewhere in the household that yelling is the way to get their point across. That's how they've communicated. That's what they've seen. So somebody with emotional intelligence will take that instance, take that yelling, and they won't get triggered by it. They won't, throw fire on more fire, because they understand that what's happening is a little bit deeper than just a situation. That's emotional intelligence. That's being able to come to a level of peace within yourself. And it's not easy. I'm not telling you have to be this zen where like nothing gets under your skin and everything's just easy for you. But when you're at a place where your emotions don't dictate how you handle situations, it'll be easier for you to navigate stressful situations that by nature cause an uproar or a heightened energy. You'll be cautious of it. You'll be aware of it, at least. One of the worst things to be is unaware. And something else too that I read in this book is called The Power of Now, which, crazy enough, when you break down emotional intelligence truly, a lot of it comes down to your ability to become present. When you're present, not a lot of things shake you. And when you're present, you tend to see things clearer. It's easier to manage your emotions when you're not overly emotional. The quickest way to, I'm not going to say numb your emotions, but to balance your emotions is by doing things like breathing, meditating, being still, exercise, just doing things that bring you completely into the moment. When you get in stressful situations or high tense situations, you immediately start breathing. You immediately try to find the stillness in your body. Feel where your arms are at. Feel your body, like literally come to a place of silence, like what I just did. Silence everything. Your reaction to things happening outside of you is going to be a reflection of that calmness. That's even if you have to rub somebody wrong, right? Because people think emotional intelligence is just doing good by people and making everybody happy. No, a part of emotional intelligence is making sure people feel seen, right? Now, in the process of you making somebody feel seen, it's going to bring up the good and the bad in that person. So when you're present, you're able to articulate what that person actually needs and actually, would benefit from, regardless of whether or not you think that person is going to become happy or if you think that person is going to become sad. You do it from a sense of calmness. It's crazy too, because when you articulate yourself from a calm energy, from that sense of present, from the sense of just stillness, the way that you articulate yourself changes, and the way that the other person receives it also changes. If you articulate yourself and you try to get your message across in a very high energy and a very aggravated, just a non-still energy, the other person inevitably will feed or play off of that energy, because once again, energy does not lie. Now, when you're really calm, or at least breathing and feeling yourself, like as you're going through the conversation, your word selection changes, your own thought processes changes. To kind of tie this to something else too, a lot of people, a lot of business owners, and a lot of people who have high responsibility jobs, or things where it requires them to make critical decisions, they will themselves tell you that they don't make decisions from a very anxious energy, any worried energies. They also don't make decisions from super happy or super excited energies. They don't let the, let's say, dollar amount or something like that, or the relationship stun them to the point where they can't see it clearly. Being able to pull yourself to that middle place. I'm not super excited. I'm not super down. I'm here. You'll be able to see the playing field clear, and you'll be able to make decisions that benefit you. If you're super duper excited, you'll make decisions based upon your excitedness. And what happens when somebody is excited? They tend to go fast, they tend to rush, they're overstimulated. You'll overlook something, you'll miss something. It's easy to make a mistake when you're excited. Now, on the flip side, when you're very anxious, when you're very worried, what also typically happens when you're anxious and you're worried? You speed up, you make bad decisions, you make decisions out of anxiety, out of worry, out of time constraints. Being sad and being happy can cause the same effect. The same mistake, the same overlooking of things, the same poor decision making, because it's still a sense of overstimulation. You need to balance yourself. Come to that ultimate sense of middle ground. And I promise the way that you see things, your perspective, your patience, your steps, how you take the steps, your routine, everything will start shifting around your emotional intelligence, how you're managing your own emotions. The moment you learn how to manage your own emotions, managing other people's emotions become a lot easier, because you're still. If you're trying to make amends or resolve a conflict or do something and you're very anxious, you're very worried, once again, your reactions, your speech, your mannerisms is going to reflect that anxiety, is going to reflect that heightened sense of stimulation. If you attack that same conversation, you attack that same adversity from a calmer space, understanding that you are safe, you are still, you are being, you are still breathing, you are here. God is protecting you. God is guiding you through this conversation. You'll be able to articulate in ways that you didn't even know, and they'll hear you because it's coming off different. The energy's different. Sometimes you can say the exact same thing, but switching the energy in which you said it from can be the difference between somebody getting upset or somebody truly hearing you. Somebody being like, damn, you're right, I get it. Or damn, I really needed to hear that. Just a slight adjustment in tone, your delivery, just small things, how you're managing yourself in that moment will directly impact everything else. So when you start getting into business, you won't make business partners with people who aren't good for you. You'll make more wiser decisions because you aren't in a hurry to just put your name on something. You aren't in a hurry to just get the bag. You'll be a little bit more calmer, like, okay, I see the bag. I know I don't have a bag, but let me actually take my time and see if this is the right bag for me. Because if not, I already don't have a bag. Let me go to the next bag. And then you start feeling things out. It helps you in entrepreneurship. It helps you building your business. It helps you in your relationship, in your family. It helps you just in everything. Being able to that breath, let alone, is enough to change everything. So that's my take on emotional intelligence. Balance yourself so you can balance the things around you, and it's just unity. And yeah, I love y'all. Let me know if y'all need any other perspectives, because emotional intelligence is a very deep topic, and we can dive into so many crevices within emotional intelligence when you start dealing with money, relationships, trauma, family, environment, self, spirituality. There's so many different avenues that emotional intelligence holds an avenue in, and I want to dig into it. So yeah, I love y'all. I hope y'all are safe out here. Once again, I don't know if you're in Los Angeles, it's these fires and stuff happening out here. Hope everybody's safe. Yeah, I love y'all. See you on the next video.